And now it's that time of evening to introduce our featured guest. I've thought a lot about what to say at this moment. There's a lot of things that I thought about saying. But I thought I'd go with this. What I love about this community is that at some level, we're all family. That means we don't always agree. We don't always get along, but the moment someone else comes along and is negative about our city, or about our workers, we're instantly united to stand up for the great city of Martinsville. Oftentimes, municipalities sit back as if to say, okay, Mayor, how are you doing? What are you going to do to fix the city? But Martinsville doesn't do that. We say, okay, Mayor, how can we help? How can I get my hands dirty to make this a better place? And I believe everyone here this evening feels the same way, and there's no doubt in my mind that our mayor wants the same thing. What I appreciate most about Mayor Costin is that it's never about him. I've seen personally how when given a compliment, he instantly pivots the conversation to the staff person or the city worker who is responsible for the good deed or task. I'm thankful for the mayor's continued tradition of having an open door policy. When I was a little boy, I always loved walking into City Hall and knowing that if Mayor Deckard was in office, I'd get invited to sit in his office and talk. And Mayor Deckard, I thank you for that memory. And I also have to say that I didn't have to think hard who was mayor because you were mayor most of my life. So Mayor Costin, thank you for continuing that. I consistently see you on social media inviting friend or foe into the office to discuss whatever their grievance is. Friends, may we never forget that the success or failure of this city lies not on the shoulders of just one person, but upon the shoulders of all of us. And it's up to us to be the checks and balances of our society, but it's also up to us to not look at others to create the culture of our community, but to realize we are the culture of this community. And it's my honor, it's my privilege to welcome to the front the leader of the greatest city in Indiana and someone who exhibits that. Please stand and welcome Mayor Kenny Costin.
I want to, everybody else has said it's been great to be here in person. We haven't been able to do this 2 years. I'm petrified. I'd much rather been on a camera with you, Jason, Jamin. That shows you how nervous I am. No, it is great to be here finally after 2 years to have a State of the City address with all of you. Jamin and I kind of feed off of each other, so we're going to do things a little bit different tonight. That's why we were asking for questions as you came in. That's why we have these here, and we're going to go through and answer as many as we can during the time we have. But I'd also like to introduce the people that are working for you, the citizens. We have a fantastic team. We have situations when we don't always agree, but we have the humility to talk it out and see what's best for the city. So if you would hold your applause till I announce everyone, I would like to introduce President Pro Tem Phil Deckard II. If you would just stand and remain standing. Former Mayor and Councilman Phil Deckard Sr. Councilwoman Ann Miller. Councilwoman Susie Lips. On our Board of Works, Kelly Bray. Our staff, First Deputy Clerk Ben Merida. City Superintendent Mac Dunn. Director of Planning and Engineering Gary Oakes. City Attorney Dale Coffey. Building Inspector Bob Strader. Utility Office Manager Heather Staggs. Fire Chief Kevin Green. And Police Chief John Richards. Now, while they're standing, if their spouse is here with them, please stand also, because it's not just them that's helping the city. The spouse is there helping and encouraging every step of the way. So let's give them all a round of applause. And I would also like to take this time to publicly ask Debbie to stand. A lot of people ask, why do you want to run for mayor? Why do you want to take this on? Everything's in God's timing. And I think the team that we've put together is the right team for Martinsville at this time. You know, we took office January of 2020. 3 months later, we're in this pandemic. We're hearing about the new normal. I hated that phrase. Well, how can something be normal when it's changing every 2 weeks? Then we get into I-69. What a blessing that was. And Rod and Peggy, it really was a blessing from the state, because a lot of people don't realize, I don't want to take a lot of time up here, but there are hidden benefits that the state has done with our infrastructure that's going to save us anywhere from $40 to $50,000 a month on some of our processes. So it is a hidden jewel that we've gotten. Even though trucks coming through downtown was terrible, but we got through it. We're a community that learns how to adapt and move on. And I appreciate the ones that called, upset, but I also appreciate when you left your number so I could call you back. And as you can tell, I love to talk. I hate to write, so I'd much rather talk to you. So I appreciate it when they leave their number and I can call them back. So Martinsville's gone through a lot the last 2 years, but I'm here to tell you there's a lot of great things that's going to happen in the next 20 years for this city. And I'm privileged, honored, and blessed to be the mayor of this city. So at this time, Jamin, let's dive in.
All right, let's see what we have here.
Make sure I don't fall off this. It's like being on the school board at graduation time. You don't want to scoot back too far on the stage, you go back.
Mr. Mayor, since the city is growing, how do you see growth happening in public safety, different locations for PD and FD?
Right now, we are in the process of looking at constructing a new facility for our police department. I think that's one of the things that shocked Mac Dunn and I the most when we first went into City Hall, was the lack of space that our police department's having to work in. And they need additional space. So our plan is we're going to take the clerk's office, build a building on Sycamore Street to the east of City Hall. That's going to be the clerk and supporting offices there. We're going to tear down the public safety building there by the fire station, and we're going to construct a new police department. The other thing while we're doing this, Glenn and Ruth Russell the city was so fortunate that they sold some of Ruth's farm, her family farm, the Hannah Farms, that we're going to be building over 280 homes out in that area off of Artesian Way. There is a segment there that they have kept. And again, being the civic-minded couple that they are, they're looking to give us a couple acres to put a substation, I guess it would be called. Chief Green could probably tell me the correct name, but we're going to put a substation over there for the fire department. Now, this isn't going to happen next year. It's not going to happen in 2 years. But again, long-term vision is 15 to 20 years down the road. So if we can start planning now of what's going to happen, and I look for our police department to have part of their facilities using for the police department in that also, because that's the area that we're going to grow in. The Spinas and Rickhammock extended Indian Creek Village. They've got 150 some homes that are going in there right now. So that's an area that we're going to need to have facilities over there. But for right now, we're going to concentrate on getting the police department a new facility that they've needed for many years.
Okay, our next question. What are you going to bring internet to underserved areas on Duke's lines?
Well, we had a conversation today with a company called Meridian, and we are looking to sign a contract with this company. It's a French company, and they're coming, and they've already signed a deal with Bloomington, Columbus, and Shelbyville. And I have a meeting tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock with the 3 mayors of those cities, and we're going to talk about bringing high-speed internet to our cities. They're hoping to start construction on this as early as maybe April or May, and then it may be a 3-year build-out to get it all accomplished.
Now, how does that interact with, I remember Ben Merida had a press release about internet or infrastructure or something. Was there something connected with that, with high-speed internet?
Yes.
That we received a grant or something?
About 52%. Where's Bruce at? Bruce, about 52% of this is going to be on your lines. So work with us. And then the other 48% will be buried. But they're hoping to get at least 90% of our community served with high-speed internet.
I remember at the you had a question and answer time we did at REMC, and I know that you had quite a few questions, but the one that stuck out to me was a lady over by Trader Baker's had an issue with the dumpster.
Yes.
Did you guys ever address that?
Yes. Ike Toomey, who was our code enforcement officer, unfortunately he's taken another position. He's no longer with us, but Ike did a fantastic job. He went over, talked to the lady that had concern there at the group home. He went in, talked to the manager, Trader Baker. They came to a conclusion that they could put the dumpsters in what was the old Danner's, old Kmart garden area and lock it up so that people could not get into the dumpsters, and then the trash people had a key to get in there. So that solved the problem there.
Great. Now, you all saw me pull this out, and if I threw it down, someone would say, oh, he's tainting with the questions. But this one is IU or Wyoming?
Wyoming. No. IU by 15.
Woo. I like that. What is the plan to bring more businesses to Martinsville, such as Lowe's, Home Depot, etc.?
We are looking at areas where we can bring those type of companies. Unfortunately, we are like in a bowl. If you look and you go south on 69, you look off to the right, we got a great lot of farm ground in there. It's all floodplain. You go out across 39 bypass to 67 to the left, that's all floodplain. So we're in a bowl. So the likelihood of being able to get a large company like that is slim, but we are trying. We're reaching out to different hotels. We think that we've got a good footprint for hotels to come into our community, especially with all the activities going on down at IU. And so we're looking at that, but we're looking more at housing. And people will be our industry. We need to create a great community. We've got a great public school system. We've got a great private school system. Now we've got to create activities for families to want to come to Martinsville. We're in a great location between Bloomington and Indianapolis, and so we've got to do a job of attracting those families to come here. We need to look at different restaurants to get here, and those are all things that we're looking to try to get accomplished in the next couple of years.
So you answered my question that I was thinking in my head. I think it was in the paper today, Monrovia or someone had a 400,000 square foot building that's coming out of business or et cetera. Mm-hmm. And people are always say, well, we want that here. But your answer to that is we're in a floodplain. Houses are going to be our product.
Right. If we're hoping in the next 4 to 5 years that we can announce as many as 700 new homes coming into our community. The other thing that we need to look at down the road is transportation. There was a large grant that was given through the state, the READY grant, and we were partnered with Hendricks, Putnam, Montgomery, Boone, and Johnson counties. And as we met, we all decided one of the things that we need to be concerned about is transportation. In the future, we need to be able to, we have people living here, but they may be working in Monrovia, Plainfield, or somewhere. We need a way of getting that transportation and getting the folks there.
Okay, our next question. What is the final completion date for the I-69 around Martinsville?
Gary, what do you think? 2023. And also, you know, remember, we just had starting the construction on South Street, which is still part of the NDOT project. South Street, Kreider and Kreider, they're hoping to be able to finish that by end of this year in December. And then we're going to be letting bids on the Ohio Street project here in the next couple of months. So once we get Ohio Street and South Street, that'll probably be mid-2023.
Okay. What are your goals for the remainder of your first term?
Survive. We've got a lot of projects that we have taken on. We've looked at the financing on these projects. The Redevelopment Commission took a $15 million bond. With those bonds, we're looking at completing sewers running to Hacker Creek Drive. We're looking to finally get sewers up Main Street. These were two areas that were annexed in the city back in 2014, and it's time that we get those utilities there. We're looking to have Faith Church to voluntarily annex into the city, and at that point, we will run sewer and water across across 69 to that area, and then we can hopefully start getting housing over in that area. One of my long-term things, I'd like to look at the transportation, because I think that is a key component that we can help our residents get to their jobs, especially when gas is now over $4 a gallon. It would be nice to ride share or something. But the other thing, we received a $20 million grant this last year, thanks to the help of Senator Bray and working with Gary Oakes. And this is for a levee. This levee is going to be out, if you're going out the bypass to your left, it's going to extend from White River all the way down to about where the airport's at. We needed this levee. We've had trouble, or we've had conversations with FEMA for several years. We kept kicking the can down the road. But if we didn't do something, there were over 400 homes and businesses that were going to be affected with flood insurance. Flood insurance is very expensive. So we need to do our due diligence and finally get this levee constructed. My long-term goal, and it probably will not be accomplished while I'm sitting in City Hall, but I'm hoping that we have a plan to take the property between the bypass and the newly constructed levee and then turn it into a park system. Walking trails, baseball diamonds, soccer fields, anything we could get into there. Because as people would come across the bypass and they'd look over there and think, wow, this community really values their youth. And that is something that we can really shine on. And like I said, I hope to have a plan on how that can be accomplished. And whoever follows me in the mayor's office, I hope they think it's a good enough idea that they will carry that on.
It's very good. I didn't take your cue that you were almost done, so I wasn't ready. Sorry about that. Oh, this one's a long one. Mr. Mayor, is the city is the city looking into improving offerings for our youth and families as it relates to recreational activities? You kind of just answered that. Currently, they are having to go to Greenwood or Bloomington. We need to make certain we retain and attract families.
I couldn't agree with that more.
Ron and Lisa Bowling. I said their name because they put it on there.
My grandkids love to, unfortunately, go to Bloomington or Greenwood to play in like the bounce house. Now, we do have the old Black Lumber Company, the gymnastic place that will open up, and the grandkids love to go in there and play. But I can't think what it's called, but it's like a bounce house, huge thing that they go in and at Bloomington and play. Those are things we need to look at because here
Jumpin'
again.
Joey's, I think.
Jumpin' Joey's, yeah. So we need to have things like that because here again, and I know Jamie's going to kill me when I say this, we're a bedroom community. And we've got to be the best bedroom community that we can be. And that has different activities for the children. I know the county with Kenny Hale wants to get some trails connected here in the county, which would be fantastic. Because you look at Morgan County, we're the last donut county to get developed. And I know for years I've said at the funeral home, have people come in, well, look at Mooresville. They're growing before us. Development wasn't going to jump over Mooresville and come to Martinsville. It's going to make its way down. And it's our turn. It's our turn for the county. And I think it's so important that the city, the county, and Mooresville, we all three need to work together because if they get an industrial park and jobs at Monrovia or Mooresville, it's going to benefit our citizens here. As long as we can have a good and safe place for families to live.
Why are my tax dollars paying for an event space?
They are not.
Okay.
Okay, next question. No. And we've got to come up with a name for this thing. You call it an amphitheater. It's not an amphitheater. It's a stage. And it's a pavilion area that's going to seat or maybe 300 people, but you got to bring your own seat. So we got to come up with a name with it. This is funded through our redevelopment commission. It's funded with TIF dollars, not tax dollars. TIF dollars are a little bit different. It's an increment in the taxes, and just it gets a little more detailed, but real quick, if your property was in Morgan Street and you paid $1,000 in property taxes and you redo your property and it comes back and appraises for $1,500, the TIF is that increment increase, that $500. That is what's funding the $15 million bond. That's what's funding the entertainment area. That's what's funding the sewers going up Hacker Drive and up Main Street. That's what's funding the pushing water and sewer across 69, because those are for development areas. So it's not tax. It's tax dollars, but it's not income tax. It's a portion of the property tax of those properties that are in the TIF area.
Okay. This is kind of funny. Is your relationship with the local press similar to President Trump and the national media?
Lance, where you at? I think we've got a pretty good relationship, don't we? I've got him on my phone to speed dial.
All right. IU or Purdue?
You know, my daughter-in-law tried to get me caught in this. My son-in-law went to Purdue. I went to Purdue for 3 semesters till I partied too hard and I had to leave. My daughter went to Butler. My son and daughter-in-law went to IU. I mean, we're torn. Saved by the bell.
We made it through all in 20 minutes.
All kidding aside, I wanted this to be fun for everybody because everyone does have questions. And we're going to have another town hall meeting probably sometime in April. We had one last fall. We had maybe 12, 14 people that showed up. We're hoping to have more than that because I'm an open book. I know there's been some things that are said on social media or whatever, but if you've got a question or a problem about anything, call me. That's all I ask. Don't attack me on social media because I'm not on social media, so I'm not going to be able to reply back to you. And I'm not going to get into an argument on social media. But my office is open for you. Call me. There are so many great things. And here again, I am blessed to be the mayor. But it's our team. It's our council. It's our board of works. It's our department heads. It's our workers. One of the things people don't realize, during the pandemic, we picked the trash up every day. Our water department worked every day. Our wastewater treatment plant worked every day. So they were very essential to getting us through this. And we, as a community, are so blessed to have the workers that we have. Again, there are going to be great things happening for Martinsville in the next 15 to 20 years. We're hoping that we can lay the groundwork for that, so whoever comes in behind us, like I told my son AJ, the biggest compliment I could have is whomever comes in after me continues what we've set forth. And we need to have the financing in line on how they're going to do that also. So, again, thank you for coming out this evening. I know this is a little bit different than what has been done in the past. Jamin and I just kind of want to have a little fun. But, I'm going to get you home before 9 o'clock, and you can get your pajamas on, get your butts on the couch, and watch the game. So, go IU.